You know, those rare Wednesday afternoons when the world feels like it's been wrapped in a sheet of soft gray, when the sky hangs low and quiet and the rain taps against your window like it's nudging you into stillness. If today is that day for you, if the world outside smells like wet asphalt and washed leaves, then you're in exactly the right place. Welcome back to the podcast. Today's theme is crafted for all of us who live for slow burn fiction, atmospheric novels, rainy day coziness, and the kind of storytelling that feels like it was written specifically for a long, contemplative afternoon indoors. We'll explore 15 books, each one chosen for its ability to pull you into a different emotional temperature. Warmth, nostalgia, mystery, melancholy, introspection, magic, and the soothing hum of quiet transformation. These aren't fast-paced thrill rides. These are window weather books, perfect for when you want to sink into a soft chair, listen to the rain, and slowly let a story take over. So make yourself something warm, tea, coffee, cocoa, and let's begin this rainy day literary journey. Today, we start with maximum coziness. 1. The House in the Cerulean Sea. T.J. Klune. Have you ever longed for a book that feels like stepping into a sunlit cottage after walking through cold rain? That's the emotional temperature of The House in the Cerulean Sea. The story follows Linus Baker, a rule-following, middle-aged caseworker who is sent to evaluate a very unusual orphanage on a remote island. The children there, magical, potentially dangerous, deeply misunderstood. This book is a masterclass in gentle fantasy, found family, and the kind of slow character development that makes you forget you're reading fiction and convinces you're simply living alongside the characters. On a rainy Wednesday, this novel does something extraordinary. It softens your edges, and that is why it continuously trends under searches like *best cozy fantasy novels, *comfort books like Cerulean Sea, *wholesome slow burn stories. If your rainy afternoon needs emotional warmth, start here. 284 Charing Cross Road, Hellinghanf. This is not a novel. It's a conversation, a human connection. A warm cup of nostalgia served in the form of letters, exchanged between a writer in New York and a bookseller in London. There's something magical about reading real correspondence on a rainy day. Something about the typewriters, the old ink, the unfolding friendship across an ocean. It's short, it's tender, and it's one of the most bookish, literary, and cozy works ever written. If you've ever typed books about books into Google, this one lives at the very top. On a rainy Wednesday, it does what the rain itself does. It slows your heart rate, softens the noise, reminds you of quieter forms of love. 3. Where'd You Go? Bernadette Maria Semple. Rainy days call for quirky humor. Something light but smart, sharp but warm. Enter Bernadette, told through emails, notes, medical documents, transcripts, and frantic correspondences. This book is a literary jigsaw puzzle, and you, the reader, assemble it slowly, piece by piece. Bernadette Fox is eccentric, brilliant, exhausted, and unexpectedly tender, and when she goes missing, her daughter Bee tries to reconstruct her mother's life. It's funny, it's chaotic, it's emotionally honest. If you're looking for funny books for a rainy day, epistolary novels with heart, cozy chaos energy. This one is a rainy Wednesday essential. 4. Major Pettigrew's Last Stand, Helen Simonson. Some novels are like warm tea, with a touch of lemon, a little tart, entirely soothing, and nostalgic in a way you don't expect. Major Pettigrew's Last Stand is a quiet love story set in a quaint English village. It's about tradition, dignity, grief, and the possibility of blooming again after life has weathered you. This book moves slowly, deliberately, just like rain. If your rainy day mood leans toward gentle romance, British small-town charm, character-driven comfort reads, then this is your perfect match. 5. A Man Called Ove, Frederick Backman. There is no rainy day reading list without a Backman novel. Ove begins the book grumpy, angry, rigid, and uninterested in the world, but slowly, beautifully, his shell cracks. This is one of the internet's most searched rainy day books because it delivers what we crave when skies turn gray, an emotional transformation. Backman writes grief and loneliness with piercing clarity, then slowly, gently adds humor and hope until your heart feels warm again. This is the book equivalent of a rainstorm that ends in unexpected sunlight. 6. Rebecca Daphne du Maurier. If the earlier books were warm blankets, Rebecca is the cool breath of wind across a rain-slicked window. Few novels create mood like this one. Manderley, the mansion at the center of this story, feels alive. Rebecca, the woman who haunts its halls, is unforgettable. This book is perfect for people searching for gothic novels for rainy days, atmospheric fiction, slow burn, psychological tension. It's not frightening, it's not fast, it is haunting, and on a rainy Wednesday, haunting is exactly the right pace. 7. Piranesi, Susanna Clark. Reading Piranesi is like walking through a cathedral made of tides, silence, and stone statues. You do not consume this book, you drift through it. Piranesi lives in a house with endless halls and oceans sloshing through the lower levels. The story unfolds slowly, gently peeling back layers of mystery. It's philosophical, atmospheric, quietly mind-bending. If you want a rainy day read that feels like a dream you want to stay inside, this is the one. 8. Convenience Store Woman, Sayaka Murata. This novella is small but profound. It follows Keiko Furukura, a woman who finds deep peace in the daily rhythms of working at a convenience store. Others don't understand her, but she understands herself. This book is for readers who search for quiet Japanese fiction, minimalist storytelling, books about ordinary life that feel extraordinary. Rainy days are perfect for introspection, and Keiko's story invites you to question what it means to live authentically, even if your life doesn't follow society's script. 9. The Secret History, Donna Tartt. Every rainy afternoon needs a touch of academia, a whisper of Greek tragedy, and a lingering sense of something is not quite right. That's this book. A group of classic students at an elite college becomes entangled in something dark, intellectually thrilling, but morally dangerous. This book is slow, intense, beautifully written, and dripping with atmosphere, perfect for dark academia lovers, rainy day campus fiction, readers who love psychological tension. If rain could read, this is the book it would pick. 10. Vita Nostra, Marina and Sergei Dyachenko. This is the deepest dive on the list, a surreal, philosophical, unsettling novel about a student attending a strange and transformative school. It is intense. It is atmospheric. It is unlike anything you've read. Rainy days pair well with books that force your mind to stretch. And this story transforms you as completely as it transforms its characters. As we move into the bookish mystery and introspective nonfiction segment, the mood shifts again, deeper, quieter, more reflective. These are the books you pick up when the rain outside no longer feels like a backdrop, but like it's part of your bloodstream, when the air grows heavy, when thoughts slow down, and when you crave a story with shadows, secrets, and layered meaning. Let's continue. 11. The Shadow of the Wind. Carlos Ruiz Zafón. If there is one book universally recommended for rainy days, it is The Shadow of the Wind. It is the definition of atmospheric storytelling, a novel soaked in mist, mystery, and the irresistible pull of forbidden books. Set in post-war Barcelona, the story opens with a boy named Daniel being taken by his father to a secret place known as the Cemetery of Forgotten Books. Yes, a cemetery for books. A labyrinth where abandoned stories wait to be rediscovered. From that moment, the rain starts falling in your mind. Daniel chooses a novel titled The Shadow of the Wind and quickly discovers someone out there is deliberately destroying every copy of that book ever printed. Why? Who? What are they hiding? This story blends literary mystery, gothic atmosphere, romance, political intrigue, and emotional depth with staggering elegance. It hits every major search trend for atmospheric reading. Best atmospheric novels ever written. Books for when you want to escape into another world. Mysterious, bookish, lyrical fiction. It's the kind of novel that makes you want to pull your blanket closer and listen to the rain more deeply. A rainy Wednesday doesn't just suit the shadow of the wind, it amplifies it. 12. The Sentence. Louise Erdrich. Rain has a way of making time feel strange, slower, heavier, but also clearer. The Sentence thrives in that liminal space. Set in a Minneapolis bookstore, the story revolves around a bookseller named Tookie, an ex-convict, a reader, a survivor, a woman trying to rebuild a life that feels both fragile and profound. And then the bookstore becomes haunted, but not in the way you expect. The ghost here is not a threat, but a presence, a symbol, a memory that refuses to dissolve. This book blends Native American identity, the permanence of stories, grief and resilience, the way books become companions, the political and emotional turbulence of recent years. And through all that, Erdrich writes about reading, what it means to love books so deeply that they become part of your emotional muscle. On a rainy afternoon, this novel offers a quiet, spiritual haunt, a soft, contemplative echo that lingers. Trending search terms that match this book perfectly include bookstore novels, haunting but not scary books, literary fiction for reflective moods, contemporary fiction with emotional depth. This is a book you read slowly, letting each page bloom like steam on a rainy window. 13. The Plot. Jean Hanf Corlitz. Now we shift gears slightly to a book that is sharper, quicker, more psychologically electric, but still contemplative enough for a gray afternoon. The Plot follows Jake, a struggling author who can no longer write anything worth reading until one of his students reveals the outline of a novel so brilliant, so original, that Jake is convinced it will become a bestseller. And then the student dies, and Jake takes the plot. The questions begin. Is a plot something you can steal? Who owns a story? How far would you go to protect your success? This book is addictive in a slow burn way. It doesn't jump at you. It creeps in, sentence by sentence. It makes you question the ethics of creativity and the shadows behind ambition. It's ideal for search trends like literary thrillers for a rainy day, books about writers and secrets, psychological suspense without gore when the rain hits hardest. This is the book that keeps your pulse steady, but your curiosity sharp. Now we enter the soft landing portion of this podcast episode, books that extend your mind outward in gentle, contemplative ways. After the emotional swell of fiction, nonfiction becomes a grounding force. But these aren't heavy, rigid works. They are fluid, like rainwater, quiet, philosophical, illuminating. 14. How to Do Nothing, Jenny Odell. This book is a rebellion, disguised as a whisper in a society obsessed with productivity, speed, noise, and digital overwhelm. Jenny Odell asks a radical question. What if we simply stopped? Not in a self-help, hustle culture way, not by quitting life and moving to the woods, but by reclaiming something far more valuable. Attention. On a rainy Wednesday afternoon, with less sunlight, more stillness, and fewer distractions, this book resonates in a way it simply doesn't on bright, busy days. Odell encourages us to notice birdsong, small changes in the landscape, moments of silence, the emotional texture of time. Her argument is philosophical, artistic, ecological, personal. It's less about doing nothing and more about being fully present. Trending searches this book aligns with mindfulness without meditation, books that help you slow down, anti-burnout reading lists, rainy day nonfiction for deep thinkers. This book teaches you how to feel the rain, not outrun it. 15. Exhalation, Ted Chiang. We end this segment with a masterpiece of quiet wonder. Exhalation is a collection of science fiction stories, but not the kind with explosions or dystopian catastrophes. These stories are clean, precise, philosophical, like someone distilling human experience into pure thought. Chiang writes about memory, time, free will, mechanical universes, the fragility of consciousness, the miracle of choosing meaning. His stories are the literary equivalent of rain falling on a still lake, gentle ripples that continue long after the surface calms. This is ideal for listeners searching for thought-provoking short stories, philosophical science fiction, reflective reading for quiet days, books that make you rethink everything. Rain invites contemplation, and Chiang gives you something worth contemplating. Take a breath, let the rainfall settle around you. We've moved from warmth to atmosphere, from mystery to meaning, from cozy human stories to cosmic reflections. We've walked through cozy cottages and fog-drenched mansions, through labyrinths, bookstores, quiet Japanese supermarkets, strange academies, and the interior worlds of people learning to live, change, or simply endure. Now, as the rain deepens and the light fades into that unmistakable Wednesday gray, the color of soft wool and washed pavement, it's time to weave these 15 books into something larger, a meditation on what rainy day reading really means, why it feels sacred, and why these books, in particular, resonate so profoundly in stillness. Settle in, the final arc begins. There's a reason rainy days feel tailor-made for reading. It's not just the sound, or the coziness, or the way the world seems smaller and gentler. Rain does something psychological, almost chemical, to our inner world. Rain lowers sensory demand. There's less visual stimulation, fewer distractions, softened edges. Your brain moves from alert mode into introspection mode, the same mode required for deep reading. Rain boosts nostalgia. Scientific studies show that steady rainfall triggers memory recall and emotional warmth, both of which are essential for books like 84, Charing Cross Road, and A Man Called Ove. Rain sharpens atmosphere, fog, mist, water, the hushed quality of wet air. Suddenly Rebecca, The Secret History, and Piranesi feel like they were written specifically for this moment. Rain encourages ethical wandering. Books like How to Do Nothing and Exhalation thrive in the liminal space between stillness and reflection. And perhaps most importantly, rain asks you to slow down, not stop, not disconnect, just slow. That's the emotional spine connecting all 15 books on this list. They are not meant to be rushed. They ask for your attention, and in return, they give you a quieter mind. Let's create a metaphorical landscape of these books, a rain map of sorts. It helps readers choose the right book, depending on what kind of rainy day mood they're experiencing. 1. When the rain feels warm, nostalgic, and gentle, choose The House in the Cerulean Sea, Major Pettigrew's Last Stand. Where'd You Go, Bernadette? A Man Called Ove. These books echo soft rain, the kind that doesn't disturb the world, but refreshes it. They focus on transformation, unexpected love, chosen family, and rediscovering joy. 2. When the rain feels dark, dramatic, or emotional, choose Rebecca, The Secret History, Vita Nostra. These novels thrive in heavy rain, the kind that makes you turn on a lamp at noon. They transport you into psychological interiors, shadowed hallways, morally complex worlds. 3. When the rain feels mysterious or surreal, choose Piranesi, The Sentence, The Shadow of the Wind. These are your fog and lantern reads, books that whisper instead of shout, stories that seem to shift shape the longer you sit with them. 4. When the rain feels quiet and introspective, choose Convenience Store Woman, How to Do Nothing, Exhalation. These aren't just rainy day books. They're inner weather books designed for contemplation, self-questioning, and deep mental stillness. 5. When the rain feels sharp, curious, or energizing, choose The Plot. This is the rainy day equivalent of turning the lamp brighter, sitting up straighter, sharpening your senses. It's for when you want atmosphere, but also tension, pacing, and a dash of intellectual intrigue. This map helps listeners not just pick a book, but pick a mood. Because reading is emotional meteorology. When placed together, these 15 books form a psychological constellation, a star map for the reader who loves rain, a quiet archive of the human condition. You may have noticed the rain in your mind sounds different now. At the start of this podcast, it was a curtain, a boundary between you and the world, a reminder to turn inward. Now it feels gentler, less intrusive, more like a companion than a command. That shift matters because experiencing rain through books is one of the most grounding sensory rituals we have. Rain says, slow, rest, breathe, rediscover. Books say, feel, remember, imagine, transform. Together, they create a small sanctuary, a temporary refuge, a moment you will want to recreate again and again. Reading in the rain is not escapism, it's reconnection. If this episode found you on a rainy Wednesday afternoon, maybe this is the universe offering you a small pause, a reminder that your mind is allowed to wander, that your heart is allowed to soften, that your inner life matters. Before we close, I want you to pick one thing. Which of the 15 books is whispering to you right now? Not the one you think you should read, not the most famous, or the one trending on Book Talk, but the one that stirred something small, quiet, and insistent inside you. That feeling, that spark, is the beginning of your next rainy day ritual. Follow it. Thank you for sharing this quiet space with me today, for listening, for imagining, for letting the rain be your companion. If this episode gave you even a moment of stillness or clarity or softness, then it did its job. And if you discovered even one book today that speaks to your inner weather, then you've gained a companion for life. Rainy days will always come, some heavy, some light, some emotional, some peaceful, but every rainy day carries an invitation. Open a book, slow your breath, listen to yourself, let the world soften around the edges. This is your reminder. You don't have to wait for a perfect moment to read. You simply have to choose one. Thank you for being here. Thank you for loving stories. And thank you for sharing this rainy afternoon with me. Pause. Until next time, stay warm, stay curious, and may every rainy day bring you a book that feels like home. If you enjoyed this long-form rainy day reading guide, feel free to subscribe for more bookish deep dives like this episode so more readers can find it. Comment with the book you'll be reading next. Share this with someone who loves slow burn, atmospheric novels. This channel is dedicated to cozy reading, atmospheric fiction, book discussions, rainy day recommendations, and long-form literary comfort. Thank you for making this community such a warm corner of the internet.